And of course, I have to mention the fact that we have a new shelter that went online that also involved an enormous amount of work from a lot of different players. It opened up just this last Friday, and I want to thank the Bellingham School District for letting us use the Bellingham High School. That was an enormously critical moment when they came in and allowed that to happen. We're trying to create healthy living space for people experiencing homelessness during this public health crisis. So I'm grateful to city staff, grateful to the property owners, the construction teams. The Lighthouse Mission has been doing a phenomenal job of getting that place ready to go. And all reports thus far is that it's going really well. The space itself is attractive, it's open. We've been getting good reviews from people. The streetscape on Cornwall is really nicely done. There's street planters along there. I just think it's so far looking good. We'll of course continue to monitor things.
Okay, we will now go to our 15-minute public comment period. Same as usual, you'll have 3 minutes. When the 30 seconds hits, Elisabeth will give you the nod, and then the 3 minutes, when they're up, we will move on. So, Elisabeth, give us the first three.
Yeah, the first three are Doug Gustafson, Kainui Rapaport, and Marisa Schoepp.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Hey, this is Doug, chairman of HomesNOW, Not Later. First of all, I wanted to update the city that Unity Village, our tiny home community in Fairhaven, is doing very well. Nobody is sick, and we've been able to maintain stable operations and a generally relaxed atmosphere. The village is largely self-governing, and it runs very well. I also wanted to let you all know that we're starting to see new applicants on our website, a little different than normal. We're seeing more and more applicants that have recently become homeless because they lost their job or got evicted after COVID hit. I just wanted to remind the mayor that I wrote a letter about this. The relevant part of my letter to the mayor, which was dated April 7th, reads, I think the economic damage from this virus is going to cause a lot more people to become homeless, and our model is low cost, easy to set up, and able to be set up quickly. And also great for quarantining, since people aren't warehoused in one room like a standard shelter, but they have their own unit and can self-quarantine if needed. Unity Village is currently operating very smoothly, and we've been following proper sanitation procedures to prevent the spread of viruses in general. We're willing to be bold. The community needs a few victories right now, and I think that what we're doing will be needed more than ever as this continues to play out and the aid runs out, and as the economy worsens with more evictions and unemployment. I wrote this letter because we were asked to withdraw the application for the Clean Green site as a condition for accepting the extension at our current site. I wrote the letter in the hopes that we could do more with both sites and house more people. They ultimately turned us down, but we're still trying. My message to the mayor in April is the same message now. The time was yesterday, but it's still not too late. The clock is ticking, though. Policies that should be implemented immediately in the best interests of health, public safety, and environmental impacts include publicly sanctioned encampment sites. Let HomesNOW set up the first one. We'll use Unity Village as a template, and for future sites, Unity Village is a proof of concept and an experiment. We've proven that the experiment works, therefore it should be replicated and increased. The City Council should move right away to change BMC 20.15.050. The section is titled Frequency and Duration for Temporary Safe Parking Areas, Temporary Tent Encampments, and Temporary Tiny Home Encampments. Currently under Section C, there is a time limit of 2 years maximum for any temporary shelter. This includes Unity Village and other shelters. Considering the new economic realities, the City Council needs to vote to increase that time to 5 years. We're ready to go, eager to make a difference, and all we need is the land and a sanctioned encampment site to be set up on, to be upgraded to tiny homes as quickly as possible, and the basic electric and water hookups to support it. And we can take care of the rest. We are not asking for money other than the cost to set up the basic infrastructure. We're already doing it right now with Unity Village. We just like to do more of it and help more people. This plan does not interfere with any other sheltering options or existing plans. It just provides a boost while swimming against the strong headwinds we're facing as a community. HomesNOW, I just have one last sentence. HomesNOW is only one organization, and it all adds up. Please consider letting us help more people with virtually no taxpayer dollars other than the basic hookups to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Next person is Kainui Rapaport.
Go ahead, sir.
Hi, council members. Thank you so much for letting me speak. I appreciate today's future discussion about police efforts to become more accountable, to become accredited. I appreciate the police trying to communicate to the public via this video series that they've done. Thank you for your past discussions about listening sessions, cahoots, the Racial Justice Forum, among many important issues that have arisen in a short period of time. I appreciate the council members for responding to my messages, and I'm still waiting for others. I appreciate your efforts in responding to this. And I want to refer to a recent BBD video project which mentioned 0.4% as the number use of force, which is actually equivalent to 242 uses of force in 2018 alone. That is equivalent to more than once every other day. And rather to reduce this amount, the recent video project by the police talks about statistics of the event. Bellingham has the opportunity to be a nation leader. I encourage these council members to create a statement in defense of Black Lives Matter. However, there are specific demands that are being called for. I've previously spoken about personal story of police brutality of a friend, demands to defund by a variety of organizations, the troubling use of force by police, and another speaker talked about recent abuses of power by the police. I spoke about a previous event that was not addressed in this council yet, the peaceful Stonewall's riot march to defund the police. And wherever our council member has been, all invited to these many events. Now, there are many organizations that have demands now. Whatcom Democrats and Black Lives Matter are some of them. Defend the police is not a new term, although it's becoming very popular since it's unrest. To summarize, it means reallocating funding to governmental agencies and communities. And let's follow the recent successes in Seattle to committing to defunding the police by 50% and fully funding mental health, affordable housing, and more without taking away trainings and de-escalation. Thank you for HomesNOW speaking about the work that you do. This is just one of the good organizations that have proven results. The police have affected many communities, including Hispanic and Native groups, as the recent Racial Justice Forum has brought up. I don't know what this roadmap looks like. We still lack a non-religious homeless shelter. The Family Action Plan still has not been funded. Many people are without jobs. The eviction timeline is running out. So I encourage this council to discuss police violence and race at every upcoming council meeting, including throughout the budget, so that this council does not just rubber stamp the possible increase, but rather defund the police. Thank you, council members, for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Next person is Marisa Schoepp.
Hi, my name is Marisa Schoepp, and I am the Homeless Outreach Team Coordinator for HOT within Whatcom Homeless Service Center with Opportunity Council. I wanted to give the council a sincere thank you for all of their work with not only keeping our community going, but also remaining progressive when it comes to establishing various services to connect people. HOT continues to provide COVID education, supplies, hygiene items, and offers to connect various populations to safe and accessible services. Our outreach specialist, Teresa Mures, has developed a food program which allows HOT to bring food into the camps in the midst of working with them to connect to services. The food program has become very popular, and we hope to be able to continue this program past the COVID epidemic. HOT also continues to supply the HOT also continues to supply the community with cloth masks, which have been provided to us by Whatcom Unified Command. So I wanted to give a big thank you to Whatcom Unified Command for helping us provide important safety supplies to those in need. Currently, HOT continues to have a solid and regular presence in the downtown area. HOT is now fully staffed, and our next approach will be to advertise our presence and how we can assist with providing support to businesses downtown. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Markis Dee Stid is the next speaker.
Hello, esteemed council, mayor, and all everybody else. this is Markis Dee Stid, and I am with HomesNOW, Vice Chair for HomesNOW, and I also sit on the Homeless Strategies Work Group as the homeless advocate. In that time that I have been doing that, I have also had the duty that I saw to go out and observe the camp cleanups. And before I say that, let me just remind us all of our mandate: promote the general welfare. Okay, that's whenever you're talking to me, you're talking about that. Some of you have heard this speech from me before, and promoting the general welfare is in the preamble of the Constitution. It's the reason the Constitution is written. Anybody who's worried about their rights, their amendments and their protections there, first need to read the preamble, the reason the document exists. This is, the government has largely failed to provide these shelters. We need tent encampments now. As Doug Gustafson earlier said brilliantly, that we can help you. It's easy. We get tent encampments. We guide them toward tiny home living or other even cheaper sheltering. Let's make this happen. Don't make us do this for you. This is your job. This is your mandate. Every single one of you. This is very important. Now, I can tell you that as I've been observing the camp cleanups, there was a lot that was wrong with it. And a lot of that is that we have a policy that the people who are executing the orders on the ground have no idea what those orders are. They have no idea what that policy is. They got their orders, but they do not reflect the top policy. And we're in an emergency and we have a policy. We're not supposed to be moving these camps around. The only one person who has been going out and observing these camps and making the judgment whether they're healthy enough to be moved or not per policy is Miss Muir, who was spoken of earlier in the hot team. We need a health official out there when the sweep is about to happen. When you're going to clean up a camp, there needs to be somebody there to determine that it needs to be swept. What is the determining factor? Well, under policy, that is that they need to be, there's feces here, there's needles here, there's filth here. There's a more egregious health concern than moving them around in the rain with their friends in a pandemic environment and moving them across the street in some cases. Completely trespassing them from like a block and moving them across the street with all their stuff. Drag all that stuff across Holly Street because you can't be on this street anymore. People who say they have never heard from the hot team are getting swept. People who I know never even got contacted other than a voice through cardboard are getting moved. You got 15 minutes. They never got a notification of any kind. And nobody ever bothered to ask them their ID. No one asked them, do you know where services are? These are egregious offenses that are happening in our streets daily during this COVID emergency. I demand action. Now, every one of you has spoken with you. If you haven't spoken with me, you should be speaking with me. And Seth, I'm talking to you too. We all need to move now. I want to know what we're going to do. And I look forward to all your remarks on this. This is an emergency. This must be done now. We mustn't wait anymore for Markis to screw up his observations or anything. There's one person who's deciding whose health, the health decision on anybody's one camp. And that camp gets swept up to 2 weeks later per her decision on whether it was healthy. And she talks about chop shops and chop shops and chop shops to me. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with health. We need a qualified health professional there. Make it happen, guys. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else, Elizabeth?
No one else.
Okay,